joining me to continue these conversations and how the hearings could play out. And a tale of two presidents a week before the inauguration, Democratic strategist Michelle Thomas and Republican strategist Matt Klink. Matt, I know you are in LA, not far from the Palisades fire. We're very glad you are safe and your family's safe. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, Pete Hegseth vying for his nomination for Defense Secretary, Pam Bondi for Attorney General. They'll be obviously some of the most watched hearings. Will it set the tone for the rest of the nominees? Matt, your thoughts?
If the Republicans run these hearings like the Democrats did when they confirmed all of Joe Biden's picks, it's going to be a fairly smooth sailing exercise. I think that, Adrian, as you highlighted, there will be 2 or 3 picks that are going to be controversial. Clearly, Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, and RFK Jr., but the rest of them should sail through. I mean, of course, they're going to get tough questions. The role of the Senate in advise and consent virtually assures that possibility. But I think that the Senate Republican majority realizes that for Donald Trump to be effective, he needs his people in office sooner rather than later, and they're going to make this a priority.
Michelle, same question for you. I'm not sure if there's some type of strategy that the dominating party uses, when they're in power in Congress to decide who goes first and if it's going to create momentum. But what do you have to say?
Well, good afternoon. I think one of the issues is that when the Democrats were naming their nominees and their picks, we didn't have the kind of issues we see with the candidates like Hegseth, who's been accused of financial misconduct, sexual misconduct, and alcohol abuse. So when you have those kinds of allegations, that does in fact make the Senate confirmation hearings a little more challenging, because certainly the Senate's obligation is to look out for the best interest of the people. And so when you have nominees like that who are being charged to lead the Department of Defense and other critical roles, there should be a lot of scrutiny that is applied during these confirmation hearings. It is typical, oftentimes, for the picks to be confirmed by the Senate. But here, because of Trump's picks and their storied past, I think we're going to see very scrutinizing hearings coming up.
Yeah, well, this is an era of accusations not necessarily being trusted as the gospel truth. We're all having to question everything. President Trump being called out for misinformation, Matt, blaming Governor Newsom and other California leaders, but he's been beating this drum. I mean, you can go back. In fact, social media is a great archive right now of things that he has said about the mismanagement of the state of California in regards to fire preparation. But this disinformation thing has been coming up time and time again every time he speaks. So, was it that he was wrong the whole time, or was it that warnings were ignored? And I think the bigger question is, you're there in LA, how much are residents believing there's more to this than a stroke of bad luck?
Oh no, Adrian, trust me. I mean, look, I'll leave the national political stuff and I'll describe it in one sentence. The stupid blood feud between Donald Trump and Governor Gavin Newsom does zero to help the people in the greater Los Angeles area. And if Gavin Newsom were more focused on his state as opposed to looking nationally, we would be better off. It is not Gavin Newsom's fault, nor is it Mayor Bass's fault that these fires occurred. However, where they do have significant blame is on their ability to plan for this. California has a budget of $332 billion proposed this year by the governor. When LA was on fire this week, you know what the legislature was doing? They were allocating an additional $25 million to Trump-proof California. That does a lot to help the people in Los Angeles. Look, we had a 117 million gallon reservoir that had been under repair and maintenance for 10 months in the city of Los Angeles. 17.6 million was cut from the city of LA's fire budget. We have not done wildfire controlled burns and mitigation measures because regulators have concerns about smoke regulations. The LA Times owner said it best. It's a question of competence, not about political party. And it's not partisan in California or in LA because we're all Democrats out here. They voted overwhelmingly for the same people for the last 20 years. People are finally waking up and realizing that something is not right, and the billions of dollars that have been allocated have not been spent appropriately.
Michelle, does the supermajority of Democrats in California owe residents, especially those where, like what Matt was saying, there was not the kind of immediate prompt response, and available water resources to fight these fires from the get-go? Do they owe the American people and the California residents there a prompt investigation and potentially a huge apology?
Well, look, first of all, my heart goes out to all of those directly affected by these horrifying fires that we're watching. That being said, I actually agree with my co-panelists here that it does no one good. It doesn't help anyone for President-elect Trump to be blaming and pointing the fingers at the administration and Governor Gavin Newsom, because right now the people need help. I think we've seen that Governor Gavin Newsom, he's called for an investigation into the water hydrants that ran dry by, I think, about 3 o'clock in the morning, the night of the first night of the fires. So I think we're on the same page in terms of there does need to be some investigation once we get beyond these tragedies. But right now, both sides need to come together to focus on a resolution and resolving this problem that is hurting so many people.
Michelle Thomas, Matt Klink, I want to thank you both for being here. And again, Matt, so happy that you guys are safe. You're doing well, right?
We packed up and we've been threatened with evacuation a couple times, but knock on wood, it doesn't come to that tonight.
Okay. Yeah, we're all praying that the winds stay calm and enough so that the fires do not spread.
Yep.
My God, what a world we live in. Thank you both.
Thank you. Bye.